Hi, welcome to Overnight Plays. This video will be more different compared to my other ones since I decided to lock in with the idea being, can I beat Molten mode using towers with legal gear, meaning no guns, no explosives, no rockets, only things you could probably find in your basement. Also, I won't use consumables since they are technically weapons, and I won't enable skill tree to make this more challenging. Now that the intro is out of the way, let's select our towers. Now that we're at the selection screen, we have a problem. None of the towers, except a few, use legal weapons. So we'll have to use the skins of the towers, because otherwise the challenge is impossible. So, I'm gonna bring out these towers. Number 1, Pyromancer. Because his summer skin uses a water gun instead of a flamethrower. Next tower was Trapper. His base skin has him throwing spikes, which I'm very sure is illegal. But this Easter skin, he throws sandwiches instead of spikes. Sandwiches are of course legal because they're sandwiches, so it was okay to bring him, even though he's kind of mid. Next tower I brought was Warden. His main skin has him using a baton, which only police officers use in riots, I think. So I decided to use his masquerade skin, because he uses a violin, and I'm pretty sure violins are not weapons. Next tower was the electroshocker, more specifically the jellyfish one, because the base skin uses a taser, which is a weapon, while the jellyfish skin uses I don't know how I could explain. I don't know what kind of weapon that skin uses. But anyways, I'm gonna use biologist. This tower just plants seeds. I don't know how else it would be illegal. Anyways, now with that we have our loadout, let's get into the game. For my first attempt, I chose the map Retro Stained Temple since the map's path could give my towers enough time to attack. I placed down a trapper since it's the only defense I could afford, and I got him to level 1. It handled enemies really well, but I knew that on wave 4 the heavies would be a problem, so on that wave I placed down a pyromancer. I got it to level 1 due to the fact that its extra range was actually really helpful, and it held off. Also yes, in TDS, water sets enemies on fire. I decimated wave 5, but unfortunately 3 quick corpses appeared in a spot that my towers couldn't reach. So I had to buy an electroshocker which dealt with them without an issue. After round 5 I upgraded the electroshocker to level 1 just because I felt like it. Yeah, that's what I wrote in the script. After round 6 I finally had enough cash to buy a warden who I placed on the opposite side of the electroshocker. Also I had enough money to upgrade it to level 1 in preparation to the elite at normal. Well, when the boss appeared, I got the warrant to level 2 and it dealt with the enemy really nice. Also, for some reason, Commander called him normal boss, even though it's clearly elite abnormal. Y'all need to re-record voice lines. On wave 14 arrived Pyromancer's biggest weakness, Moltens. He managed to damage them with his normal attack, but not a fire attack he applied, but that wasn't much of a difference. Wave 16 had our second boss, Molten Golem. He had 2000 HP and a 30% shield. He was not an issue at all thanks to my level 3 biologist. Speaking of biologist, I decided to change a sunflower to a nightshade and save for a level 4 one. I came to regret it, because I lost on the very next wave to hazmats. Yeah, hazmats out of all enemies. Well, it is what it is. Second attempt. I went back to the selection screen and I replaced Trapper with Gladiator. I mean, I wanted to give the guy a try. He fell off hard. And he had a skin which he uses a pool tube instead of a sword. Pool tubes are not weapons, so yeah, he's allowed. On the next attempt, I selected Crossroads since it was my favorite map and it had a nice loop. I started off by placing 2 level 0 gladiators near the intersection since they did fairly well on wave 1. On wave 2, I upgraded one of my gladiators to level 1. I did the same for the other gladiator before wave 3. On wave 4, I got a biologist since it was really cheap and I needed extra damage for the heavy zombies. As you can see, the heavies were no problem for the biologist. On wave 5, corpse enemies introduced. They weren't exactly like the petrified from tower battles, sponging up damage, but hey, this only had a few quicks as corpses, and they were no problem. On wave 7, I got a level 2 biologist before I went to upgrade gladiators, getting both of them to level 2 as well. Wave 8 had our first boss, which we breezed through without any issue. After defeating Elite Normal, I placed down a level 2 pyromancer near one of the gladiators. Don't ask me why, I just like his splash damage. Wave 10 had speedy heavies and hiddens. I placed down an electroshocker to help with heavies, and gladiators that handled the hiddens. After I got a level 3 biologist, I got another biologist instead of saving for a level 4 one, because that was a bad idea trying to save up for a max level. And the Moltens weren't a problem at all. Wave 16 had our second boss, Molten Golem. I hoped that I had enough damage, and luckily I did. Biologist was much stronger than I had expected. It annihilated the Molten Golem with no issue. The level 3 Pyro and the 2 level 3 Biologists, I beat the wave I lost on. Hazmats were no longer a problem to me. I also upgraded Gladiators to help with the smaller enemies, mainly Breakers. Wave 18 had hidden bosses, and I got the Illumina upgrade for the 2 Gladiators I had, which worked surprisingly well. Wave 19 had another level 3 Biologist, and I got a level 4 Electroshocker. It shoots slower but stuns better now. I say it's a worthy investment. Wave 20 had 2 Molten Necromancers, arguably the grossest enemy in the mode. They weren't an issue since the gladiators took care of the summons, and yeah, I do not want to look at their faces ever again. I took the risk again and actually managed to max one of my biologists, which helped a lot with my defenses. The sunflowers were devastating. I mean, over 50 damage. What more could I ask for? I got a warden on wave 23 because I wanted to include all the towers I brought, and it did a lot of damage. Wave 24 had one of my least favorite enemies, the Molten Mech. That thing is rather fast and quite tanky. A horde of them would be really devastating. Alongside the Molten Hound, Mech had one of the highest chances of being corpses, which is really annoying. Boomers weren't being that big of an issue, to be honest. I breezed through them. Wave 29 had a Molten Titan. Normally it isn't that interesting other than the fact that it's the first enemy to spawn with a corpse attitude, meaning that whenever it appears in Molten mode it will always become a corpse on death. And at the same wave I got a Poison Ivy Biologist since it did splash damage. I really didn't care much about the poison. Wave 30 was our first issue, the Molten Executioner. That thing had 30,000 HP and it had a strong stunning attack. I was worried that my defenses wouldn't be enough to handle him. I thought, this guy would be a complete brick wall. Any attempt I try, I would most likely lose to him. I would try it for hours and hours, recording lots and lots of footage, but it wouldn't be enough. And oh wait, no, he died already. My bad. Sorry, I shouldn't have talked. Yep, Biologist Flowers wiped the floor with the guy. I was really impressed with Biologist. Like, I don't use Biologist that much, but now that I see how much of a devastating force it is, I don't think I'll use it more as of now. I also got a Nightshare Biologist. Wave 39 had a Molten Summoner. I was worried for a bit, but he wasn't a problem at all. The flowers that decimated the summons. Wave 32, I maxed out all my biologists, so I decided to spam wardens in all corners. Why? Because it has one of the highest damage outputs of all the towers I have in my hand. I mean, I would spam Electroshocker, but I don't really need to spam them. The Electroshocker was doing enough as it is. I breezed through wave 33 and 34, and now it was time for the final boss. also known as the Molten Warlord. Hell yeah! Time to see if the defenses I had were great. I cleared the other enemies and began attacking the Molten Warlord himself. He reached the middle of the intersection before he even managed to deal the first damage, so I was a bit concerned. 150,000 HP is a lot, and I hoped the defenses I had were good. His health chipped down from 150k to 125k to 100k to 75k, and he entered his rage mode in the middle of the map's path. I knew that it would come down to the wire. 75k, 50k. You all know what that means. Okay, I'm sorry. 25k, 10k, 5k, and when you know it, I actually managed to defeat him. Remember, I did not use any farms, no consumables, and no skill trees. This is all just the regular old towers with legal weapons. He didn't even manage to reach the intersection twice. So yes, I could beat Molten mode using legal gear. Let me know in the comments what I should do next. Leave me some feedback, because I appreciate it. Thank you for watching Go for Night Player, guys, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.